Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. Okay. You guys all ready? You ready? Good? Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Mitch McCoy. I'm the Director of Public Affairs and Information for the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. We'll begin with our double shooting investigation. As you're all aware, this is an active homicide investigation. We hope that you understand that we're unable to speak into the specifics of the ongoing investigation. We want to protect the investigation as we work to bring the individual responsible for this to justice. 9-year-old Paige Buckner fought till the very end, but passed away from her injuries yesterday. Her mother, a 45-year-old woman, remains in critical, unstable condition and is fighting for her life. There are simply no words to describe what happened. This is a horrific act of violence against a mother and her daughter. The SLMPD will not stop until justice is served and the individual or individuals are brought to justice for this heinous act. Our homicide detectives are following several leads at this very moment and are working around the clock to build a timeline of events to clearly understand exactly what happened and what led up to this unspeakable tragedy. As you're all aware, the mother and daughter were shot in their home on December 21st. They were found after St. Louis firefighters were called to their home, which was intentionally set on fire in the 5700 block of Floy. In addition to our dedicated team of homicide investigators, the bomb and arson unit is also assisting in the investigation. Anyone, and I mean anyone with information about what happened or could potentially help shed light into a very gruesome act of violence is asked to call our homicide division at 314-444-5371. Anyone with information who wishes to remain anonymous and might be eligible for a cash reward can contact Crime Stoppers at 866-371-TIPS. There is no amount of information that is too small in the middle of a homicide investigation. Every piece of information that comes in will be evaluated by our detectives and could potentially help them better understand exactly what happened and what led up to this. I and this police department, including our homicide detectives, cannot imagine what this family is going through. With just days before Christmas and the holidays, we now have an unspeakable and to be quite honest, a act of violence that you just cannot describe. You can't put words to it. But what we can do, and it's what our detectives know best, is to take the evidence, interview individuals, and then ultimately find the person who did this and make sure that they are put in handcuffs and they are thrown in jail. And then we will let the circuit attorney do what the circuit attorney does best, and that's prosecute. That is the one prepared update we have for you. I know some have asked about the FIU investigation from Fairmont City, Illinois. We don't really have any additional updates. I mean, the update we provided yesterday goes into a lot of details. What I can tell you is that force investigators are working with the Fairmont City, Illinois Police Department today, and they are going to be collecting the in-car camera from the police car and the potential body camera. So that video will be in the hands of SLMPD force detectives later today. That's what I have.
Are you able to share the mother's name?
No. And that's custom because she is alive. We don't release the names of surviving victims.
There were some family members of a past homeowner at the house on Floyd. They were kind of confused by the whole situation that had even happened. Was this a squatting situation? None of the neighbors really seemed to know the family very well because they haven't been there very long.
That's not my understanding. That's, yeah.
Do you have the shooter identified at this point, or are you still looking for information that might help you guys identify who the shooter was?
It's still an ongoing investigation. We will explore all leads, and we will collect all tips, and then we will understand with the evidence involved who could potentially be the shooter. It's still ongoing, though.
Do you have anybody in custody right now?
No one is in custody.
Neighbors also mentioned that there were other children at the home often. Have those other children been located?
There is no one that is that we're aware of that's unaccounted for.
Is there anything that we can share, you know, just as far as a suspect to help, you know, put that information out about who you guys might believe it is or anything?
Not at the
Community can call in and, you know, provide any information?
not at this time.
Can you tell us how they died? Were they shot multiple times and set on fire, or where they were shot?
I can tell you that both victims were shot.
Is there any indication that it was forced entry?
Our homicide detectives, along with bomb and arson, will work with the St. Louis Fire Department to determine how firefighters made entry. It is somewhat complex. Firefighters responded first, so we have to get a clear timeline of exactly what happened with the fire department, what did the firefighters do, and that will help our detectives determine how the suspect ultimately gained entry into the home.
Do you know where the mom and daughter were found by firefighters, like in the home?
They were found in the home, but we're not going to get into those specifics.
Do you have it, what condition is the house in? Like, is it completely charred on the inside? What is it?
I don't know the condition of the home on the inside. Obviously, I've seen the videos of and photos that you guys have shared, and it looks like there's damage to the outside of the home. I can only imagine what's on the inside, though.
Did anyone how were you notified about the fire, or did someone call or do a wellness check, or?
There was a 911 call regarding a house fire, and that there was a home on fire there on Floyd. When firefighters arrived, they went into the home, and that's when they located the mother and daughter.
Did the girl die of her gunshot wounds or from smoke inhalation, both?
That'll be up to the medical examiner to ultimately determine, but what I can tell you is that both individuals were shot.
Let's talk more about that mother-daughter killed. It was a tragedy.
I mean, it's gut-wrenching, and it's horrible. You really can't put to words what the family is going through and what that young child experienced in her final moments. What I can tell you is that our detectives are very good at what they do. And the person who did this will very soon have to explain what happened. And our homicide detectives will not stop until that happens, and we will make sure that this person is brought to justice. Our detectives are incredibly talented and are very, very good at what they do. Our homicide detectives, we have an 87% clearance rate in the city of St. Louis. That means that there are more killers being brought to justice every single day for their actions. And we have every intention on doing that in this case. And our detectives are going to be a voice for a family that desperately needs one right now.
Were there any 911 calls regarding shots fired?
Not that I'm aware of.
So they could have been potentially shot sometime before the fire was started?
That'll be part of us building a timeline of what happened. Yeah.
Is the mother expected to survive?
She is fighting for her life, and she is in critical, unstable condition.
And I know you said you guys, detectives are following up on several leads, but, do you have a shooter identified at this point?
No. Any other questions?
Uh,
Yep.
Topic. Wheelhouse just announced that they're closing their doors in a couple days.
Yep.
Is that a spot for any, do you guys get a lot of calls there for late night activity or anything?
We're going to run those numbers. Avita was doing that as we were coming down. What I can tell you is that we don't want to see any business close in downtown St. Louis, but what I can tell you is that people have to be safe on the inside and outside of any business in our community. And that sometimes was and was not happening at that establishment. It's very clear that, and you guys are all aware, almost a year next week, that a police officer was involved, not a St. Louis, I actually forget what jurisdiction he is, Avita. Way out there. Was involved, thank you, was involved in a shooting outside Wheelhouse. And what I can tell you is that every weekend when we bring in those additional patrols that you guys have all regularly covered, those weekend details, the detail that is an area that is frequently monitored by our officers and undercover detectives because of the activity that was occurring outside the establishment. So it will certainly free up some weekend resources.
Do you have any idea how long the mom and daughter were in the house for before firefighters arrived?
That'll be part of our investigation.
And what specifically are you asking the public to contact the homicide investigation for?
Anybody with information on what possibly occurred inside the home, or anyone that has information that they believe might be a little small, but could actually be very helpful to our investigators. And nobody knows really that piece to what we're trying to put together here. So anyone with information, whether it's small or big, please come forward and let our homicide detectives know.
Any tips for holiday shopping?
Thank you. Yeah. I will tell you, we have been very diligent, and our commanders are closely watching for package thefts in the area. Some of you guys have regularly covered that. We have I won't get into the specific details. There is, the SLMPD did start a detail in recent weeks regarding package thefts. We are deploying resources strategically to protect packages that might be delivered, and we have been doing that over the course of the last month. Pay attention to your surroundings, know where you're going, have a plan, and we do hope that everyone has a happy holiday. And we are coming up on New Year's Eve. We will be sharing safety messages here in the coming weeks. The Fun Without Guns detail is going to be in effect related to shots fired calls, which we know there's always an increase of on New Year's Eve. So we just hope everybody has a happy holiday. But thank you for the question.
Any update to the chief and any secondary work?
I don't think anybody's made an announcement, no. But that won't come from the SLMPD.
You guys will have some kind of record of secondary work, so I guess I believe you keep that for other employees?
Yeah, I believe it's part of their personnel file.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you guys, and thank you for your help trying to get the information out on the mom and daughter.
Thank you.
Thank you.